good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtstars, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the new Blurt.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal people of Yuggera land, as well as the Woiwurrung people of the Wurundjeri land. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place, and acknowledge that they never ceded sovereignty. We respect all Turrbal and Woiwurrung elders and ancestors, and any First Nations people here today.
Good evening. I'm Kiwi, and tonight we're having very, very interesting internet issues on the new Blurt. But do stick with us, and a video will occur, hopefully very soon. Tonight I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri country of the Kulin Nation of the Woiwurrung people. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been, and always will be Aboriginal land. Unfortunately, many people around this wide brown country still don't understand that, which is a real shame. I'm not going to say anything else at the moment about the voice, but we will obviously touch on it, but not greatly, and then we'll extend to why in a minute. Good evening, Wencee's not avatar, but I don't know what to call it really. Just Wencee's voice. Good evening, Wencee's voice.
My voice. Hello, this is the Wencee's voice playing. Hello. Before I get started, I want to acknowledge that I'm coming to you from the Yuggera people, the Yuggera and Turrbals people, as the traditional custodians of Mianjin, the lands on which I'm coming to you live. I pay my respects to the Yuggera and Turrbal elders, past, present, and emerging. If I feel a bit flustered, sorry, it is my computer. It's playing up on me.
Yeah, no, poor old Wencee's having a few problems up there in Queensland, and not just because only about 25 or 30% of them voted yes. A few other issues as well. So look, hey, he's got a video back. Yes, well,
I can't see you, but
no, but I'll give it a go. Here we go. Just see if I'm back.
Oh,
I'm back as well.
Yay,
look at
that.
Hey.
The wonders of technology when it works. It's amazing.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Good evening, fellow. It's good to see you. Actually see you. It is
physically see you. Well, virtually see you.
Yes. Well. No. Virtually. I'm virtually seeing you. Absolutely.
Love your t-shirt, by the way. Tenacious.
Yes. I've been very lucky. I've got to see them a couple of times in concert. They're pretty amazing. But unfortunately, Jack has now surpassed Kyle on the size comparison, and he is concerning me slightly because I am concerned about his health, and I would like him to be around for a bit longer because he's a very funny, talented
I assume
man.
Kyle's his band partner.
Yeah. Sorry, Kyle Gass. Yeah, Kyle Gass and Jack Black make up Tenacious D. And if you've never seen them in concert, do so if you can. They're very, very good. And if you haven't seen Pick of Destiny, go and have a look at that. That's a bit of fun. If you don't like Tenacious D, don't do that. You won't enjoy it. No, very good. So look, we need to touch on it. We've got obviously little bits in our show, and yes to that question, and we've got obviously our title, and we're feeling a bit flat from it. Wencee and I put a lot of effort in. We have indelible Indigenous on this program and have had for a very long time on the new Blurt, and we really believe in the First Nations of this country, and we know how much they've given and continue to, and we stand with them in solidarity of being particularly pissed off, although obviously we are lucky to be privileged and white that we're not in the situation of actually feeling totally rejected by land they've actually lived in for 65,000 years. So I don't want to say too much more about that because we will actually do more on this. I think we're going to do more next week, Wencee, yeah?
That's right. Yeah, I'm not sure if people know out there, but a lot of the First Nations groups have asked for a week of silence to grieve the result. So we will respect that, despite all the work we've done, like you said. And yeah, it's a shame we got the result that we got. Yeah,
we did. But what we will do is next week we'll have Indelible Indigenous. We'll break it down. We'll go through it. We'll see where things were, good for the First Nations in this country, and which electorates are really a long way behind, and maybe why. So that's probably enough on The Voice for this week. But one thing I did want to talk about, and you're probably not quite across this, but Poland has an election.
yes,
in a week's time.
did see that,
and it's important. Now, the reason it's important is because Poland has quite an authoritarian regime for their administration that runs their country, and so much so that they're publicly xenophobic. So it's basically like one nation.
Oh, right.
Ruling Australia. So that's how bad it is.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it's not good. They've been in power since 2015. They've implemented a number of core policies, such as increasing social welfare and spending and promoting traditional values. As soon as they say traditional values, that's where I go,
Which decade are we talking about? 50s, 60s?
Yeah,
that type of values?
Yeah, that's what I mean. When people start to say traditional values, I'm like, yeah, okay. From, as you say, what fucking tradition? Anyway, they've also been critical of the European Union, and they've opposed immigration from Muslim majority countries. I think you get the gist. They're sort of basically like the worst part of the Republican Party in Poland.
Wow.
But
saying a lot.
Yeah, but the good thing is they're getting really run for their money in next week. In fact, so much so that they're really not sure who's going to win this election. And the other party that is, or the other group that's coming up against them is called. I can't find what the other party's called, unfortunately. But there's a real uncertainty about the election results. But and the only thing with that is that if they don't get an outright majority, then they'll do the old Trump tactics of it's been stolen.
Count the votes again.
Yeah, all that stuff. All that stuff. That stuff.
Yeah, that old trick.
Okay, so I'm getting some information here. You're saying it's already been won, the Poland election. So who won it? I must have old information here.
It almost hurts me to say this name. Donald Tusk. Sounds too similar to the other leader.
It does indeed. But is it from the PIS party?
Opposition Civic Coalition celebrates the exit poll results on Sunday. So it's only
yeah, the exit poll results on Sunday.
Yeah, so it looks like we've just got that information the last day or so.
Okay, so that means we probably need a little bit of this, I reckon. Because that party is totally against the authoritarian party. So if they've got in, that'll be brilliant for Poland.
Well, there you go. So lucky that they've gone the right way of history then.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, Zelensky was, as you could imagine, particularly concerned because they're so close, when it comes to the war, etc., especially when it comes to allies and things like that. And the authoritarian regime, as you could probably imagine, is happier to deal with Russia.
Because
So
Poland had been supporting Ukraine the last 18 months or so.
that's true, but I think they were starting to walk it back. So
Yeah.
so that is good news. That is good news. It just says here, tensions over economic assistance to Ukrainian refugees and historical grievances, potential implications of the PIS Confederation coalition on Polish-Ukrainian relations. So that was going to be an issue if the PIS got back in, but it looks like they didn't, which is fantastic. And again, we were just saying before, the changes in Poland's stance towards Ukraine. So so this looks like a good thing for Poland. I will follow this up and get even more information going forward. So just to be really interested to know exactly who got in and what they stand for and what it looks like for the party of the country going forward. Because
country going forward,
I think that's pretty interesting. I think that is pretty interesting. What else happened?
I like the name. I like the name of the outgoing ruling right-wing party. The acronym is PIS, so PIS. That's quite funny.
Yes, it's quite good. It's quite apt, really, isn't it? So, but I've got a couple of other things in banter. Do you have anything else?
No. Sorry, I've been flustered and
I know.
Start tonight.
I know. You've had fun. I've had fun, and plus, you're still getting used to the hour thing. It hasn't kicked in yet.
Yes.
Which I understand absolutely wholeheartedly. But something that I heard, I think it was only last week I think it happened a month ago, but I only actually found out about it a couple of weeks ago. But I think this is pretty cool. I'll see if I can get this to show on the screen if we can. So just bear with me. I'm just going to a little bit of show and tell, as we like to say here.
We do like show and tell.
Yeah, so just bear with me. I'll just get this set up and then we can get that done. Okay, here we go. So that's all ready to go. See if we can get a media spot. So we'll get a media spot and hopefully we'll see this in a minute. Here we go. Have a look at this. He says.
Babe, it's too dangerous. Don't be doing that.
Yeah, she's right. What a wild scene in Florida as a group of men manages to help save a lashing shark that was stranded on a beach. The woman who took this video says that she was swimming along Pensacola Beach last week when her husband spotted the shark in the water. She said it was swimming toward the shore very quickly before it beached itself. Her husband and some other men dragged that shark back into the water, and they say the shark stayed nearby for a while before finally swimming out to sea.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's a great white.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big animal.
It's a giant
mouth. I don't know if I'd want to get that close, Shayla.
Right. I know. I would steer far away. Ooh. This video is.
That's just too close for me. Those teeth are just. It's like razors.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. But how good are those people, though? I mean, seriously, to think about the animal. Yeah, to think about the animal, basically like a whale, just beaching themselves. And trying to help them back in the water. I just think that's a beautiful thing to do. So good on you, humankind.
Yeah, exactly. I assume it got saved and it just disappeared into the deep blue sea yonder.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. That is exactly what did happen. It just they were just saying on the video. Oh, there you go. Here comes Poopy. So it for whatever reason, it swam all the way into the beach, and one of the ladies was walking along. I saw a fucking shark.
There's something you don't see every day.
No, there is something you definitely don't see every day. And then these really good Samaritans tried to get it back out there. It took them a while to drag it out, as you'd imagine. It's a really, really heavy animal. And obviously it's got really sharp teeth.
Yeah.
but they eventually did, and good on them. They were able to drag it back in, and then it eventually swam out to sea, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. So I was pretty happy about that.
I hope that shark learned a lesson and tells all other sharks, do not eat humans, because they are actually quite nice people. So no more.
Yes,
Banned.
yes, that
No
is
humans
true.
for you.
No, that's exactly right. Well, to be honest with you, though, the only time they eat you is when you go into their area. Just keep out of their area; they won't eat you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they'd be culling sharks. They'd be doing things like that. Just don't fucking surf in that area.
Yeah.
Surf somewhere else. If the shark's there, well, too bad. You're gonna have to just suck it up. So, but anyway,
Yeah, fun as it is being in the ocean, you are in their territory, even if you are only 50 meters away from the beach, wherever.
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, if there's lots of people around and it comes that close, that's a little bit different. But you know, but actually, talking about that, what's really interesting, just apropos, is that I think I was mentioning this a little while ago. Just recently, they've had temperature gauges on the water, on the ocean that surrounds Florida, and it peaked at 33 degrees.
Wow.
Now, as you know, sharks don't like cold water. They love warm water.
Yeah.
So
Which
that's going to be
sharks.
a real problem for Florida going forwards if that's the case.
Yeah.
So, well, and not just them, you know, everyone else as well.
But, or just anywhere else around the world where it's getting warmer.
Absolutely, absolutely. But on the other side of this, we'll come back with Across the Dutch.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the new Blurt with Wencee and the Kegsta, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday nights, live from around 8 p.m.
When you give blood, you're more than just a blood donor. You're the lifeblood of Australia. Search Give Blood and book your donation with Australian Red Cross Lifeblood today. Give life. Give blood.
Fish, opportunity to smoke marijuana. Jabberbugs, heat bun, ute. Like, stop stealing my chips, you scared.
Yo, Wolf. Wencee and Kegsta on Across the Dutch on New Zealand. You'll be landing.
It's a good sting, that one.
It is a good one. And sometimes I do feel a little bit bad. But anyway, I will continue. So if you have been in a bubble or you have been in Australia and you've been consumed by the voice vote this last weekend, on the same weekend, New Zealand went to the polls. And last time New Zealand went to the polls, it was an overwhelming thumping by Jacinda Ardern, getting Labor majority. It's slightly different this time, people. Slightly different indeed. And seat by seat, I might even be able to just throw this up if I can. I'll try the media spot we've got up there, Wencee.
There we go.
Here we go.
I can see that.
So you can see this is actually quite a nice little website, because if we go here, you can see straight away the National Party and how many seats they have at the moment. Now, the National Party is the right wing in New Zealand. I don't think they're quite as right wing as the National Party here. But to be honest with you, the National Party is not fully right wing. That's probably not fair to say. The One Nation is definitely right wing.
They're much more right. That's
yeah.
right.
But the National is sort of conservative / centre right, if you like, I suppose. Anyway, as you can see, they've got 50 out of a total of 121 seats. Now, you need to have a majority, you need 61 seats, because obviously there's 121. At the moment, obviously, they don't have that. But if you look at Labor, Labor's only got 34, which means that they had majority last time. So, yeah, they've lost 27 seats.
Wow.
They have lost.
That's a huge loss, isn't it?
Massive, massive. And they think that a few of the reasons is, one, the Green Party didn't do as well as they thought it would. They thought it would have, I think, up to 18 seats, but it's only got the 14, as you can see there. If you're not following this on the pod, obviously, because I'm talking about things we're looking at, the links will be in the show notes. So you will be able to follow along if you have a look at the links while you listen to the pod at the same time. Now, this is the interesting one.
Canberra.
This is called, I know.
It's Canberra, ACT.
I know.
I get confused whenever I see this one.
Yes, I know. The thing is, it's called the ACT Party. It is the, I think it's Aotearoa Conservative something or other. I think, look, don't hold me to that. I know it's conservative something, but we will definitely deep dive into that a little bit more in a minute. But as you can see, they've got 11 seats. So if you put 11 seats with 50, that gives you 61, which gives them
enough.
Correct the majority to rule New Zealand. Majority to rule the world. No, to
rule, or is it a coalition?
Well, it will be a coalition between those two. Yeah. And I will explain a few things in a minute that will make that not particularly good for quite a lot of people. Farmers will like it, obviously. Now, you may or may not be aware, but New Zealand, I think, is one of the only places in the world that have put emission taxes on their farmers.
Oh, right. I think we've talked about this before.
I think we might have. I think it's got a biomethane tariff or something along those lines. And I know that many of, obviously, the farmers aren't happy. And I know that many of the sort of conservative politicians, these type of people, are not happy as well. But I will say a little bit more on that in a minute. And it is not good news. So I just thought I would mention that. We will have a look at the ACT Party in a second, called the ACT Party, not ACT. And the other one is New Zealand First. Now, New Zealand First is run by a guy called Winston Peters. As you can see, they've got 8 seats there. Winston Peters, the first time round, yeah. Oh, really? Really? Okay.
I know what you're saying. Why you said that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry, Wencee's putting up a few messages. I'm looking at them going, I can't believe that's what the ACT Party stands for, because that is the most conservative, boring I could ever think of. But anyway.
And what does it stand for, seeing as you just mentioned it?
Well, if you're on the money and you haven't Googled something wrong, it's the Association of Consumers and Taxpayers. But I find that amazing. If that's what the party's called, that just sounds incredible.
Doesn't it?
It does. And I don't like to doubt you for a second, because you are very, very good on your research. But that just sounds weird. But coming back to New Zealand First. New Zealand First ran by Winston Peters. Winston Peters has been doing it for a long time. He is quite an interesting cat. And he's got some interesting ideas, not particularly progressive. And Jacinda Ardern, the first time, because they ended up being in for 8 years or something, I think. The first time she had to depend on Winston Peters to form government. The second time when she got in, she didn't have to. She was her own majority. But he's been doing this for decades of elections, Winston Peters and his New Zealand First. A lot of people, as you can see, it's only 8 seats. So as you can see, it's not a huge representative, but the ones that do represent it, many people that know about it and don't vote for it don't particularly like its ideals and ideologies, etc. So there was a poll on, do you think it's going to be good or bad if New Zealand First are the balancing power? And the poll sort of came out on the affirmative, it was bad. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea.
Is that like having Clive Palmer on the is that like having Clive Palmer as being the mediator or the third party in a coalition?
Look, it's a good comparison. It's not quite as bad as that, but yeah, you're not too far
off
away from. No, you're not too far off at all. So yeah, I would say you are pretty close on that one. So just bear with me. I'm trying to find something, and I'm not finding it for some reason. I don't know why. That's really frustrating. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so what I want to talk about was the ACT Party. And the ACT Party says, because you're going to love this, this just gives you an example of what they're like. In big, bold letters, Election 2023, ACT promises to scrap several climate change policies. So that sounds good, doesn't it?
Which
such
climate change
as
policies? All of them?
Well, his party's climate policies include repealing the Zero Carbon Act.
Great. Because it doesn't exist.
Yep. Which requires the government to set an emissions reduction plan and trying New Zealand's emission cap to those of its trading partners. The other thing they were trying to do is costly, irrational climate change response. All the Greens voted for the Zero Carbon Act. The parties on the left-right plans to tax farmers when no country in the world has put a price on, there it is, biogenic methane. We were just talking about it a second ago. All political parties except ACT are asking New Zealand to go further and faster in cutting emissions than our trading partners. So the result is the families will pay more for food, energy, blah, 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 have less money to deal with the cost of living crisis, blah, 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 blah. But what they're forgetting is the operative word there is living. And if you don't do anything about climate change by 2030, your standard of living will be slightly lower.
Yeah. And completely under stress.
And maybe underwater.
Weather or prices gone up, or availability of food products.
Yeah.
If we don't do anything about all this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So
crazy.
So this is what the ACT Party stand for. The National Party is similar to the ACT Party, but just not quite as right-wing. They really are a right-wing party. His party would also repeal the oil and gas ban.
Right.
100% renewable electricity generation, the clean car discount, and any spending on mitigation in areas that are covered by the ETS.
Right. So back to fossil fuels, full on.
Yeah. Yeah. They have no
Excellent.
effect on climate change because the ETS already has caps emissions. Yeah, you're a genius, mate. Yep. You know everything you're talking about. No doubt about it. So instead of wasting billions on mitigation in areas already covered by the ETS, ACT will focus on building resilient infrastructure that can cope with climate change. Yeah, okay. Roads, bridges, ports, stormwater infrastructure requires billions of dollars over the next decade to future-proof our towns. Yeah, well, maybe if you cut down a few fossil fuels, you wouldn't have to worry so much. ACT will share GST with... Now, the thing about New Zealand, it's an interesting part of the country because their in uptake of solar is basically nil.
Oh, really? Jeez,
yeah, on roofs. Yeah, they don't. They're more on hydro. They do more on hydro.
Right. That makes sense considering the fault line and everything else that they've got going in that country.
Yeah. But there are plenty of places up north in the north of the South Island. I always get this wrong. I think that's right, though. North of the South Island or south of the North Island, one or the other, that have a lot of sunshine. And in those areas, they would benefit highly. One, if they could find some area where they could put maybe a solar farm in. And two, if all those people started putting solar on the roofs. But I don't think they have any scheme like we do here. And they don't have a government scheme to back it either.
Yeah.
So anyway.
It wouldn't surprise me that hydro would probably be a lot more cost effective compared to setting up a solar farm.
Oh, yeah. Infrastructure for what they don't already have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. It makes sense. They've got all the infrastructure for hydro, etc. So, so that makes sense. That makes total sense. But yeah, I thought I'd just bring it to people's because it'll be interesting because we've had a really good relationship with New Zealand for a long time, even though we had Scummo as Prime Minister, and even though Howard stepped back all of the immigration, especially for the New Zealanders in this country. Like Ness, my partner could have been, I mean, she's been here forever and she's made money here and kids and all the rest of it. And she could have became a citizen quite a while ago, but by the time she sort of got around to it, which was she didn't have very much of a window. And then by the time she was going to do it, they changed it totally, and Howard changed it totally. And he turned nearly 1 million Kiwis into SCV visa holders, which is special. It's a special SCV, special consideration visa or something. And it was for Kiwis that have been here for a certain amount of time, like a long time, et cetera, et cetera. But what it did was it meant that they couldn't, like, so during COVID, Ness couldn't get any COVID payments or anything like that from work or those sort of things. She can't get a pension, all that sort of stuff, because obviously she's not a citizen. But the reason she's not a citizen is because they had all these super stupidly hard rules and laws that made it really hard to become a citizen if you were on this particular visa. It was easier for Mick to become a citizen than it was Ness. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was totally ridiculous. But with Albo coming in, he changed all the laws.
Just made it easier.
Made it far easier.
Yeah.
And it also meant that when Kiwis came here from New Zealand, they could, if they wanted to, they could grab Medicare and those sort of sort of things a lot faster. So ScoMo, etc., didn't, and Howard and the whole the whole Liberal Party, so they wouldn't accept that with Kiwis coming over. But that whole time, the reciprocity, I think it's called, with New Zealand was that if you go to New Zealand, you'll be covered straight away, and within 2 years you can become a citizen type thing.
Yeah.
It's such an unfair playing field. And why Australia did that, especially with a really close neighbour, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Especially when we decide to claim New Zealand celebrities as our own, like
Cal Wilson.
Rusty, Cal Wilson, rest in peace, Vale. Cal Wilson, very sad indeed when I heard that last week. Almost brought a tear to my eyes. She was quite a nice, funny lady, that one. She was.
Well, everything I heard about her was that she was just the most beautiful person you could ever meet, and the funniest and smartest as well. So apparently the little bits that I heard was it was an aggressive cancer, like stupidly so.
Yeah.
But that's just. Yeah, but same as you, I think I nearly broke down, had a cry as well. It's it's funny, isn't it? You sort of, when you follow these, or I've been watching Cal for probably best part of 20 years, I suppose. And when you do those sort of things, you sort of feel like you have not a friendship, but there is a relationship because you've seen it so many times, and you just
exactly.
So. Yeah, it's pretty sad, no doubt about it. And but what I was going to say was interesting because I heard so many times she was called an Australian comedian.
Yeah, exactly. So we're happy to claim them as our own, but if we don't treat them the same as Kiwis do of us when we go over there, it's a bit unfair.
It is pretty unfair. It is pretty unfair. But that's where Jacinda was really good, and with Albo, because they had a good relationship, and so that worked really well. They were able to nut out that deal, etc. But what my point is that with the National Party and with the ACT Party, and now you've got Albo in here, I don't know how. I don't know how that relationship's going to go.
Might have to visit it in a few months' time and see where it's at, and see if the relationship is just as strong and continuing, or whether things have changed for the better or worse.
I think so. But I think we will. I think it's time for a bit of environment. So stick around.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact. whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
Hi, it's Ashley Fizame here, and you're listening to the new Blurt with Wencee and Kegsta.
So that was Ash Fizame.
Yes, it was.
That one. Yes, it was. And I did say a little while ago that we should have him back on the Blurt soon, on the new Blurt soon, and not as in we should have him, i.e., in quotes, we should have him. I've spoken to him, so he should be coming on. But he's just had a lot happening, so I will reach out to him and get him back on because he's always fun to talk to, and he's had so much going on lately. So
I think he's become an Aussie citizen since we last spoke to him.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And he actually talked about a little bit, talked about his citizenship when he was on the pod last time he was around.
Oh,
so,
did he? Yes,
yeah.
I can't remember exactly what we talked about, but yeah.
Yeah, no. But I know lots of stuff's happened since then. I think he's done festivals and cruises and everything. In fact, I think he was on the show once and he was actually on a cruise in his room.
Yeah, or about to go on a show or something.
Yeah, something like that. And when I say on a cruise, obviously, I mean he's working on the cruise ship, etc. He's done that quite a bit in his life. But now he's touring all around Australia, etc. So anyway, we will follow that up and get him on. Now it's time for Green There, Done That.
Against it. But these fires are certainly not a function of climate change, they're just a function of life in Australia.
Why would a scientist want to change people's vote? I mean, this is you saw the spin over the past week as they drip fed.
A poll that came out last month, which found 1 in 4 Americans is skeptical of all the effects of climate change and thinks this issue's been exaggerated.
It's cold.
You're listening to Green There, Done That on the new Blurt with Wencee and the Kegsta.
That is very true. And tonight I thought I might talk about electric bikes.
Ooh,
because as we know, they're absolutely. Because as we know, they're particularly good for the environment. Now they can start from a dodgy sort of model at around about the $2,000 mark, $2,000. They can range. Well, they can range up to $20,000. Which is a lot more money, and sort of the middle range, which is not bad, is about $5,000. So I think the one that Marta Francisco is modeling, if you like, I think that's around the $5,000 mark, I believe.
Yeesh,
but
wow.
yeah, but the situation is that they're getting really popular because if you think about it. They do pay for themselves, as the title says, because $5,000, $6,000, right, for a bike, it sounds like a lot. But if you're not paying any petrol or anything, and it's getting to where you want to get to, and you can get your shopping and all those sort of things, and it's better for the environment, in the long run, it's a good option, you know. I mean, as long as there's, if you can swap it out with your partner, because like a lot of the times, many people, and you see them all the time, when they're in a car, there's only one person in that car.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you might do the quick car trip to the local shopping centre and not really buy anything, and you come back empty-handed, or you just bought something small which you could easily bring back on your bike. So all those little things, if you plan ahead, definitely save you money.
Oh, look, absolutely, and so much better for the environment. And the other thing with that as well is, I mean, obviously, if it's raining and stuff, well, you might get wet. Yeah. But I mean, they did all this in the old days, Wencee. I mean, they didn't have electric bikes; they just rode ones without an engine.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's time that we probably do need to regress a little bit because as we know, I mean, it's funny. I was talking to someone about this the other day. We think about petrol being expensive, right? At $2 a litre or whatever it is.
$2.40. Try that in Brisbane.
Okay, $2.40. And if you go to New Zealand, it's $3 plus.
Wow.
And it has been like that for a while. But I maintain that that is still very, very cheap. And I'll tell you why. Because that oil came from billions of years of being underground before it was dug up. And you cannot put a cost on how many billions of years it took to make that oil.
That is so true. And if you make it too cheap, everyone's just going to drive cars and stuff, and you just burn even more and get rid of it.
Correct. Really, we should be paying $10 a litre for petrol. I know that sounds ridiculous, and anyone who heard that would go, "You are an idiot. I'm never listening to you." And that's fair enough. But the fact is that if we don't do things differently, we are stuffed. It was really interesting, though. I will definitely get onto these e-bikes, but as we always digress. But it was interesting. I was listening to a potty today, and this guy was talking about, and this will blow you away. How much do you think, as a percentage of GDP, the world needs to spend to stop the world being in catastrophic climate change situation?
Is that overall to actually implement new things?
Well, invest in new technologies, in renewables, and all those, like all green technology, things that are definitely going to put us in the right to stop it from getting to any larger than 1.5 degrees.
I would say maybe 1 or 2%.
Well, you are very good, because they have done a lot of research, etc. They came out at 2%.
2%, not bad.
2%. So the world.
So my theory is that it doesn't cost much to implement some of these systems, like potentially solar, wind, and other things. And then obviously, as you're decarbonizing or getting rid of mining, that also counteracts a lot of that spend. That's my theory.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The global GDP, I think, is 85 trillion. So if you 2% that, I think it works out to like 1.7 trillion or something, which sounds like a lot of money. But as he was saying, one of the first things you could do, and it would make a ginormous impact on the earth, is to buy the Amazon rainforest and don't allow anyone to do anything to it anymore.
Really? Wow.
Because 800 billion, you could buy the rainforest.
Brazil government would be happy with that.
They would. They would.
And so would the indigenous tribes who live there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But so would the world, because as you know, the Amazon forest is the world's biggest carbon sink.
Yeah.
And they're killing it. And so it was really, really interesting. And it gets more interesting because in World War II, America spent 36% of their GDP on World War II to win the war.
Wow.
But they can't spend 2% to save their whole country.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, go for it.
Oh, you go first.
No, all I was going to say is they spent 14% of GDP in COVID times.
Right.
And in the GFC times, I think they spent 6% or 8% or something.
On climate?
No. In the GFC, on paying the banks that were too big to fail, etc. They had to bail them
right.
out.
Yes. Yep.
So they spent about 6% of GDP doing that.
Wow.
So we are only talking 2% of GDP.
Yeah.
To stop that catastrophic climate change.
Yeah.
It's
wow. It doesn't take much. It just takes some balls, and you've got to stand up to some of these big multinationals who want to keep burning all that fossil fuel.
Absolutely. And actually, with you saying it doesn't take much, I actually meant to mention this in banter and I forgot, but we're in green there, done that, so I'll mention it here. Killarney in Ireland just became the first Irish town to go reusable, disposable cup free. Sorry, not reusable, disposable cup for coffee cups free.
Excellent.
And they're trying to. They've got a couple of holdouts in the town, but most of them are pretty much. They had a big meeting, a big council meeting, and they went to the small businesses, etc., and said, "Look, this is what we need to do." Because Killarney is such a place where people visit, right? They go to there, I think, to kiss the shamrock or something.
The Blarney Stone.
The Blarney Stone or something.
Yeah,
I think that's right. I
Which
think
I've
that's
done.
right.
I've done.
Oh wow, nice job.
Yeah.
So 23,000 during tourist times, 23,000 disposable cups per week.
Per week.
Wow. I know. And so they just went, nah, this is enough. And so so good on Killarney, and they're trying to now slowly but surely push it out through through Ireland. And I just so wish we would do that here. It does take a lot. It just takes balls. That's all it takes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a mindset change. It's like the plastic bags. People are up in arms. Oh no, we're going to lose our plastic bags. But you make do. You just prepare yourself. You take your bags with you, and then you buy the paper bags if you run short. Simple.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Now, I am not sure about you, but me, for the longest time, obviously I take my own bags, but I go one step further. I don't use any plastic bags when I'm there either. So all my fruit is loose and all my vegetables are loose. I'm pretty loose. No, but all my stuff is
You're pretty loose. You're a loose cannon.
All my stuff is loose, and so I try to cut down on responsibility. But it's interesting because you see people rock in, they're trying to do the right thing, and they're coming in with their canvas bags, etc., and then they're just loaded up to the hilt with plastic bags of fruit and everything else. I'm just like, you're not quite getting it yet. You're just not quite getting it. But,
and the other thing you do that I noticed when I was there earlier this year, you take your plastic containers for your deli goods like cheeses and whatever else you buy, which is a great idea. Not many places allow you to do that. So that little supermarket you go to, good on them for encouraging that.
Well, absolutely. And the other thing I've started doing as well, as much as I love so many different types of cheeses, so many of them are in plastic. So we've decided that we will buy like a brie round off because it's got that foil, it's got the foil around it. It's a full. So if it means I have to eat that cheese instead of another cheese, well, I'm just taking that option.
It's a sacrifice someone's got to do.
I know it's such a freaking, not even a first world problem. It's like a half a world problem.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of cheeses, my youngest one, Luke, has developed a penchant for goat cheese.
Oh,
and he keeps those little small blocks. They're only, I don't know, 100 grams.
$14.
Yeah, and he'll chow down that whole thing in one sitting. I was like, come on, mate, you got to slow down on that. You're gonna eat us out of our home.
Yeah, no, that very expensive goat's cheese is not cheap. So, but actually, talking about not cheap, as I say, these bikes can range between 5 and 20K, and but I mean, they don't cost you anything to run. So people have been a little bit concerned in the past because they have had some fires at home. But they said that's
with the batteries, yeah.
But they said that's mainly because of people cheaped out on the battery charger.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you get good quality charger and you get it set up properly, you should be well and good. But
you're right. And it would really be even better if you had solar charging it, because then it would definitely be free.
Oh yes, absolutely. But again, not everyone can afford solar as well as a electric bike. So sometimes we're all trying to do as much as we can, sort of thing. But anyway, so So the thing with the e-bikes is apparently in the last couple of years, they've doubled the amount they're selling.
Oh, right.
So yeah,
I have been keen on getting one myself, and you can get cheaper ones in the 2000. And I started looking going down the path of investigating. Even spoke to, went to a bike store, and you got to be careful which one you choose because you get your front motor ones, and then you get the ones with the motor at the back on the back wheel.
Yeah.
The ones on the front aren't as powerful and struggle more when you go up hills. So you just got to be careful. What your use cases is, and keep an eye, keep in mind the environment that you'll be riding your bike in. So
yeah, no, it's a good call. It is a good call. But I think if you can afford it, and you were thinking about a second car for any reason, or maybe even your first car, if it's only you might not need to buy a car because it may be cheaper for you to have a bike all the time type thing, and then if you need to go a longer distance, well, for that weekend you hire a car or something. But considering how much money you would save on your rego and your insurance every month and the servicing of the car, etc., it would be way cheaper to do it that way. If it's only you, it's a different.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but yeah, so I think it's a really good option. And the thing is, advocates are coming out more and more for like e-bike subsidies. And also for need for better bike lanes because, as you know,
it's pretty dangerous out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But
One
anyway,
of the reasons I don't like riding a push bike or any manual bike like that, because it's not that I don't trust myself. I just don't trust drivers. But is it going to get to the point where we're going to have to register bicycles to be on the road to pay for all those costs? And I'd be happy to pay rego if I got an electric bike, if it meant that facilities got better on the roads.
Do you know, I totally agree with you 100%. And to be honest with you, I do actually think that bikes should pay not a big rego, but just at least a small contribution.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're using the road like anyone else, or you're using, your bike lane. Or if you're like a taxi the other day, you're driving in the bike lane. But
great, good on you.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in the bike lane and there's a taxi driving at me in the bike lane. I don't understand that.
And if you yell at him, they'll just get angry at you.
Yeah, exactly right. So, but But yeah, so I mean, in conclusion, potential for reducing emissions with e-bikes, and we still need better infrastructure incentives for people to have e-bikes. But it looks like it's definitely taking off, and I think it's definitely a good idea. It'd be interesting, anyone that listens to the new Blurt, to find out what their opinions are on e-bikes. It would be interesting to see how many people have them and are using them, etc. But I think we might do a little bit more research into it. But anyway, well, what do you reckon, Wencee? We've had an interesting weekend, and we've just trying to get our head above water a little bit. Do you think we should do joke of the week?
I think we need to lighten the mood a bit.
All right, my friend.
My brother-in-law was a victim to the hokey pokey. It was a rough couple of years, but he turned himself around.
Joke of the week.
And anyone that is joining us on the new Blurt tonight, more than happy to take your jokes. So go for it, Wencee.
Alrighty. A termite walks into a bar and asks, "Is the bartender here?" Get it?
Go on.
Is the bartender here?
Yes, it took me a little while, but yes, no, very nice. Very
Yeah, I
good.
got one of those.
That's good. I do like that actually.
I dread the other sound effect that you give out when you don't like it. Over to you. You're next.
Oh, did you hear that?
No, missed that one.
Yes. Are you hearing me? Because I think we've got a bit of a lag. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think we do.
What do you call two octopuses that look exactly the same?
Two octopuses that look exactly the same. I reckon it's got something to do with ink. No idea.
Identical.
Good one. I like that one. All right. We've got one here from Vicky,
I
our
like that
avid
one too.
watcher listener. What do you call a knight made of fine china? I don't know.
A knight made of fine china. I don't know.
Are you ready for it? Sir,
very
as in
very
SIR,
good.
Ceramic.
This is yes. This is the answer.
Ceramic. Nice one. I like that one.
Ceramic. Very very good. Very very good.
What does Vicky get for that?
I like it.
There you go. Okay. My next joke. Are we ready for that? We've got a bit of lag. Stop the lag.
Yeah. We've got a lot of lag. A man walks into a zoo. The only animal was a dog. Oh God. I'm gonna take myself off video. Maybe take yourself off video for a second.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear us? Or hear me?
Maybe take yourself off video for a second. See how we go.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Earth to Keely. Or Brisbane to Keely.
Yes, I can hear you well.
Excellent.
I can hear you
Excellent.
well.
Can you tell your joke again? Because I only heard the first half.
Couldn't hear it. No worries. A man walks into a zoo. The only animal was a dog. It was a Shih Tzu.
Okay. What do you call a caveman's fart? I
don't know where you go to get your jokes this week.
Should I say that again? Yeah, I haven't said the punchline yet. What do you call a caveman's fart?
I know. Yeah. I don't know.
A blast from the past.
I don't know. Ah, that's just shit. I like the question better than the answer. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm going to try coming back online.
Got one here
like
from listener. Okay. I got the words jacuzzi and yakuza mixed up, and now I'm in hot water with the Japanese mafia. Yes, very nice. Very nice.
That's a good one, Vicky. Thank you. Love that one.
It is a good one. It is a very good one. You got another one?
Yes, I do. All right. I was having a bad day, and my friend said, "At least you're not stuck in the hole in the ground full of water." I knew he meant well.
Ah, God. Are you going to do Dad's Jokes Are Us or something? What the actual? Seriously.
Maybe.
Where do you find a dog with no legs?
In that Shih Tzu zoo?
Good answer.
No, I don't know. Where would you find it?
Exactly where you left it.
All right, I have one more, but I don't know how many you've got, but I have one more.
No,
this
we'll
is my
make
last
that the
one.
last, because that'll kick us onto an hour, so that'll be nice.
Okay. Why does a chicken coop only have 2 doors?
Interesting. Do tell.
Because if it had 4 doors, it would be a chicken sedan.
Jesus Christ. I don't know.
These were all really daggy dad ones.
Yes, I could tell they were. I could definitely 100% tell that.
Hey, he's back. Let's see.
It's been a lot of fun, as it always is, Wencee. Yes, I am. Yes, we've had lots of fun with internet tonight. Most of the time, actually, it was all right when we actually got going. So we won't whinge about that. So anyone joined us, thank you so much. Listen on the pod, thank you very much. If you voted yes in the referendum last weekend, thank you very much. And the First Nations, obviously, thank you very much for that as well. So anyway, we'll do a bit more of a deep dive in that next week. Anything you wanted to say, Wencee, before we go?
First of all, just want to say that Vicky says, love telling daggy jokes with you guys, and we love listening to them as well. So thank you, Vicky, for your contribution. As to the yes vote or the indelible Indigenous next week, we'll go into it a bit more. But yes, I'm going through the many stages of grief, disappointment.
We can't even log properly.
Can't even what?
We can't even log out. The internet's killing us on the way out.
Right. I think that's it from me, because our internet is just crap tonight. I'll blame Malcolm Turnbull because he stuffed up the NBN for us all.
We always blame Malcolm. Yes,
we do.
Yes, he has completely stuffed it up. All right, buddy.
So,
awesome as usual. We will be back. Yep, you're on mute, by the way. Now you're back. We'll be doing Indelible Indigenous next week, and we'll do a bit of a deep dive on what happened this weekend, and it should be interesting. And we will see you then. And thank you very much. We've got a few potties that have been a bit late. Yes, we've got a few potties that have been a bit late because of our voice work. Wencee and myself, things have been a bit waylaid, but we'll get on top of that. Most of the potties are up there now, I think.
Running behind
they
one.
should be ready for download. So have a look for them in your best pod app. Yes, absolutely. So we'll catch you next week. Thank you, people. Thank you, Wencee. Thank you, Vicky.
Thanks, everyone. Oh,
later.
Hand. Bye.